It's time for Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt. Todd Marquardt, attorney at law in Texas. If you're a millionaire or a thousandaire, Talk Law Radio is now on the air. Call in with your business law question, your elder law question, veteran aid, Medicaid, build a business to get paid. 210-308-8867. Or ask a question online at marquardtlawfirm.com. That's MARQUARDT lawfirm.com. And now it's Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, on the radio, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Let's start with the financial focus with Jacob Warren, who is with Financial Planning HQ. They serve as financial CEO for successful people, and he works with his father, Steve, and his brother, Joseph. Jacob, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Todd. It is a pleasure to be back on the show. We're looking forward to chatting today.
So for families and business owners who are already working with a financial planner, what are some non-negotiable deliverables they should be receiving?
It's a great question, Todd, and everyone should have what's called a comprehensive written lifetime financial strategy. And what that is a full examination of your financial picture, your cash reserves. So, everyone wants to know, how much money should I have in the bank versus how much should I have invested in the market, right? What's that sweet spot? What's my emergency fund? So ironing that out, giving specific advice on that. Debt management, specifically for a lot of my younger clients who have a lot of student loan debt. They want to know, is the government ever going to help me out? We've been talking about this for 2 years. I say no, but who knows, right? Mm-hmm. But coming up with a strategy to eliminate debt on a schedule that works for them, of course. Insurance. There's a lot of different types of insurance. What do you need? What should you be paying for it? What types of coverages should you have across the whole spectrum of insurance? The one that everybody talks about the most and thinks is the most important is the investment management, right? How I want to know that my portfolio is invested correctly, efficiently as well. And specifically for business owners, especially now we're in March, we're almost in tax month, right?
Right.
So planning out tax projections and coming up with strategies to reduce your taxes and keep a lot of your money away from the IRS, which of course everybody loves to do that, right?
They do. That sounds like an ideal relationship with an advisor. What do most relationships look like between an advisor and their client?
So there's really two, and I can speak, I guess the whole business, Financial Planning HQ, we have a unique perspective on this because we used to operate in those worlds where we were first basically life insurance salesmen. We worked for a big life insurance company, mm-hmm. and the idea there was everybody that walks in, get them at least a term policy, you're selling life insurance. And that is one business model. The other one is the AUM, or assets under management business model, where essentially what you do is you gather assets and you charge typically 1 to 1.5% fee to manage those assets, do a good job for your clients. Those are the two typical ways and relationships that advisors have with clients. And we decided to get away from that a few years back and do our own thing. Being a fully independent registered investment advisor, we just do flat fee, and we've kind of eliminated any kind of conflict of interest that can occur with, I don't have to sell you a product to make money, right?
Right.
And my clients know exactly what they're paying me because it's just a flat fee.
In dollars and cents.
In dollars and cents. I always ask them when I'm meeting with somebody, hey, how much are you paying your financial advisor? And I've run into one person in my career that can tell me exactly how much. Super analytical engineer type fellow, but
right.
He knew exactly how much he was paying. But most people don't, and it's understandable because it's complicated.
Right.
It's very complicated, and that's why we've eliminated that. We don't offer any products or anything like that, so we can give very, very specific advice that is in your best interest because we're not swayed one way or the other.
What does a client relationship look like with Financial Planning HQ and you and Steve and Joseph?
It all starts with a document that is called the Financial Roadmap. And this is really the guiding light for everything that we do in terms of making recommendations and strategies for clients. And what that is it's, let's just use an example. It's husband and wife. It's about an hour 15 long conversation where we talk about what is important to each of them about money. And it's a very unique experience, Todd, because a lot of times people don't know. You don't know.
Right.
You don't know. What your wife's like deepest thoughts are about money. What she wants to do with it at the end of the day, and what's like her higher calling, right? So it can be a conversation where people kind of look at each other like, "Well, I didn't know you wanted to do that," or things like that.
Right.
So it starts with the values conversation, and from there we talk about goals, right? What are some not big money, but what are some goals that you have that require money to achieve, whether it's, buying a house for younger people or retirement, financial freedom, all of that cool stuff. And at the very end of that meeting, we actually take a look at your documents, which in the past, working for other companies, it's, okay, you brought in your documents. Let me just jump right into those. I don't know how you feel about money. I don't know anything. I just want to look at your documents to see if I can sell you something. So this conversation is great because we get to truly understand the importance of money to the individual. And the very last part of it is the actual like dollars and cents part of it, where we take a look and decide if we're a good fit to work together or not.
I think that most advisors just assume that people want to retire when they're 65 or 70, and maybe that's not the case.
It's not the case. And actually recently, and people that I've been talking to, it's like 50. It's early. They want to retire. They want to figure out how they can work really, really hard while they're younger and then retire early.
But then what? They're assuming that that's all that they want to do with their money. How can I get you to retirement at that specific age? But you're talking about other financial goals.
Right. Yes. There's many different things that come up when we talk about goals. And it's very, very fun. I'm actually thinking back to a client that I met probably about 5 years ago where they wanted to purchase an RV when they retired. And we came up with a full strategy. This is exactly how you're going to do it. This is how much money you're going to save each month. This is where that money is going to go. Showed them that they can afford it, and then was able to kind of walk them through that process to where they actually got to that point and they had more than enough money to buy the RV, didn't have to take out a high, loan interest rate to do it.
Right.
And they were able to buy it, and it was such a fulfilling experience for me because I was there from the very beginning. This goal came out as a result of the financial roadmap meeting, and they both agreed, and then we just kind of put our heads down and were able to make it happen. It was really fun.
Yeah, I bet. So back to your client relationship, you just meet with them one time?
No, we do not meet with them one time. So the first year of onboarding a client, typically we meet, it can be up to 5 times in the first year. After that, it's 3 times a year, and all of these meetings are like very, very specific, and we have goals for those meetings where we want to talk about different items. What some of those look like is, the first one being an implementation meeting. I have all of your information, all of your I know everything that you have in your finances, and here's some specific recommendations we can knock out right off the bat to start improving your situation, whether that's, doing wills, right, hiring a good CPA, moving your investments from like an old 401k to a higher performing investment account, things like that, and really knocking all those out quickly. And after that, we do what's called a comprehensive safety review, where this really resonates with my older clients, where we basically ask the open-ended question like, hey, what risks do you see to your financial roadmap? What's something that could happen that could completely derail everything? We get feedback on that, and then we come up with a strategy to make sure that they're not going to be affected if that were to happen.
I bet they have peace of mind about that.
Yes, and that's the whole goal, to make sure that there's really nothing that can harm your financial well-being, especially when you're retired. Yeah.
Do you have any resources for our listeners today?
I do, yes. So I typically, my initial meeting is complimentary, of course, but I'm open to just having an initial conversation with anybody that wants to learn a little bit more about comprehensive lifetime financial planning, and how we differ from maybe your existing relationship with your advisor, and offer to complete your financial roadmap. If it's a husband and wife or you're single, take you through that process, complete your financial roadmap, and go from there. There's no strings attached. In fact, you can actually use your financial roadmap with your existing advisor if you wanted to do so. So it's just a great experience, and of course, it's complimentary. I don't charge for that.
Okay, and how can they contact you?
Yes, my direct line is 210-444-2128. You can also find us at financialplanninghq.net.
Okay, that's 210-444-2128. 210-444-2128. Smart financial planning leads to a brighter tomorrow, whether it's achieving or maintaining financial independence, becoming tax efficient, or building business wealth. Steve, Joseph, and Jacob create comprehensive, written lifetime financial strategies that's uniquely yours, based entirely on what's important to you. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Jacob, we've got a few more minutes to talk.
Sure.
Have you noticed anything going on with the market since the U.S. and Israeli strike on Iran?
Yeah, we had one bad day, and then like always seems to happen, the next day is like super green. So I think it's just whenever there's uncertainty, you see things in the market.
Right.
I think it's important, unless you're like a day trader or something, it's important to just long-term vision and not get too panicked when things get a little crazy out there. So
do your clients call you when stuff like that happens?
Only one. Only one person called me. But it wasn't a big deal. He really just wanted to talk about the situation, I think.
Yeah.
Which is on top of everyone's mind right now. But I kind of coach my clients through that beforehand and be like, hey, we're not trying to hit home runs or anything here. Mm-hmm. And you're protected if things go really poorly. But we want to keep our eye on the long-term success and long-term vision of your overall financial strategy.
Yeah, Steve told me about course corrections along the way.
That's important, yeah. If things change drastically, if there's a big life change, you can't just stick to your old plan, right? You have to make sure that you can course correct and come up with another plan that works out for you. So,
thank you for being here today.
Of course. It's always great to be here. Appreciate you, Todd, and look forward to hearing from some of the audience.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Are you confident about your financial future? What if you had a clear financial roadmap and a team holding you accountable to make the best financial decisions no matter what? At Financial Planning HQ, Steve and his sons, Joseph and Jacob, have been helping San Antonio families since 1987 with inspiring, intelligent financial strategies. Whether it's achieving or maintaining financial independence, becoming more tax efficient, or building business wealth, we create a comprehensive, written lifetime financial strategy that's uniquely yours, based entirely on what's important to you. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Call Financial Planning HQ today at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. And take the first step towards financial clarity. That's Financial Planning HQ, inspiring financial strategies for San Antonio. Remember, 210-685-2722. Hi, I'm attorney Todd Marquardt. If you don't have a will, the state of Texas decides who gets your stuff, and it might not go where you think. I'll help you create a simple, legally sound will that protects your family and your wishes. Call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Or visit marquardtlawfirm.com for your free consultation. Do it before you die. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws that impact you without you knowing it. So listen to Talk Law Radio and tell your friends and family members to listen too, so that you can avoid hidden traps and identify opportunities to get ahead. Like property management with Lorena Jáuregui de Birdy. She's a Business Development Director and Acquisition Specialist with PMI Birdy Properties, a family-owned San Antonio property management firm founded in 1979 by Barry and Nancy Birdy, who are retired Air Force veterans. So one of the things that you do, Lorena, is you help military members.
We do.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, we have grown because of our military men and women. I mean, the company started off that way. Papa, our founder, he was a Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force, and when he retired, he basically was like, you know what? Let me babysit my buddies' houses. That's how he got started. And became a property manager. He did that for like 20 years by himself, old school, and he was done and over with it after 20 years, and he was like, I'm closing up shop. And my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, they were actually in the Air Force at the time as well. My father-in-law said, don't. I'll get out of the Air Force after 15 years and I'll take it over. And so he has taken it over and has made it into the largest property management firm in San Antonio from when Papa started.
So this has gone...
Three generations.
Yeah. Wow, that's terrific.
Yep.
There's not many businesses that do that.
No.
Jacob, do you have some clients that have done that?
I can't think of any. That's very rare.
It is rare. Yeah. And so I think what happens is a military person buys a property to live in San Antonio, and then they get deployed.
They do. And then, some military men and women, maybe they just bought the property and they get deployed sooner than they expected. And they're in a position where I can't sell it, I'm going to be coming out of pocket. Mm-hmm. It's too early. So manage my home. Or they go into it with the goal set that they want to buy investment properties everywhere they get stationed, right?
Okay.
And San Antonio is just a really great place to invest. So most of the time, they're not just buying one; they'll buy multiple, even though they were just stationed.
That's really great. Now, if you look at Lorena's signature line on her email, she has all these professional designations next to her name. How did you get those? What does it help you do for clients?
Yeah, the designations, it just kind of sets us apart, or sets me apart. It's a lot of hours, a lot of classes, talking about different aspects, military specialist, specialist in fair housing and
fair housing.
Yes, yeah. So just a lot of extra education, which is always great for a property manager because things are always changing really quick in regards to laws and what you can do, what you can't do, discrimination, all kinds of stuff.
That's why I have you here, because I think there's a lot of hidden blind spots there. So you have all those designations. What professional associations are you a member of?
The National NARPM for short, but the National Association of Residential Property Managers. So if you're ever looking for a property manager, people with the designation NARPM, NARPM, are the people that you want to be looking for. You want to also ask and make sure that they're actually active in the chapter, not just part of the chapter.
And how active were you?
Extremely active. It goes down from my father-in-law, where our company is big on education. My father-in-law was a past president, local and nationally. My husband is also a past local president for 2 years. And I was the president in 2020, which was the worst year you could be president because I was at the downtown a lot fighting for our owners' rights. So, during COVID. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Tell us more about the company. What are some of your core values?
Oh gosh, we have a lot of core values, but to be ethical, one that is kind of fun is to get stuff done. But I will tell you that that's the nicer version of what we really mean. I'll let you fill in the blanks. But our goal, since Papa, is just to do things right, manage our houses the way we would want them to be managed by our family, and so. Being ethical is the key core value that we have.
Right. That's the same thing with Jacob and Joseph and Steve. What do you like about working in this industry? I asked you what's funny about being in property management, and you said nothing. So
Yeah.
what do you like about it?
It's always something different. My prior, career, I was in healthcare, so it's just different. I had a lot of empathy for my patients then, and I was able to bring that into property management. But I love helping individuals in a different way than when I was in healthcare, but kind of the same way. I always deal with different kinds of individuals, and not every client has a bunch of money to spend on, a bunch of investment homes. And I really enjoy working with the individuals like the sisters, 18 and 15-year-old that come to me saying that their dad passed away of a heart attack and have a house that now needs managed and they don't know the first thing to do, right? Or the single mom that comes and says, I bought an investment home and I'm proud of it because when I got divorced, I was left with nothing, and I want to make sure that never happens to my daughter, and I want to make sure that I have, something set. So I get really emotional talking about it because it's just like I love that aspect of just working with those individuals and just helping them through that process.
You have a lot of empathy for your
Absolutely.
clients. That's terrific. So we're going to get into some hidden legal issue blind spots, and I think that some of those blind spots are pain points for clients. What do you see as pain points for self-managed property managers?
Owners that self-manage, the pain points are, I let my tenant off the hook, paying late once, and then it just became routine, right? So not making payments on time, not making them at all anymore, maintenance issues. Either they're feeling like they're getting taken advantage by tenants putting in too many maintenance requests or not even calling in for anything. So by the time they go into their house, it's destroyed. Having the tenants bring in other tenants that come in, and so now there's multiple families living in the home and not really knowing what the heck is going on with their house anymore. So there's a lot of pain points when it comes to property management.
I can imagine. I had one client that managed her own properties, and she said if somebody didn't pay the rent, she would go there right away. And she said, "Give me something. If you're not going to pay your rent, give me something. Give me your watch. Give me your TV."
Shake them down.
Right? I wouldn't want to do that.
I wouldn't. Not in this time of. No.
That might end up in an injury somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what services can PMI Birdy Property Management provide that an individual can't do himself?
Oh. It's expertise that we have, right? Anyone can find a tenant. Anyone can find someone off the streets to live in their house. But we have dedicated individuals that specialize in different things, and a bunch of software that we have, and partnerships that we have that we can utilize to help them find the best quality tenants and really manage their house right. And so we focus on that. I mean, our team works a lot differently than most property managers. We're a very large group specializing in different aspects of managing all our portfolios. However, some of them are cross-trained. So we have dedicated people just doing the aspects of screening our tenants, right? It's not as easy as just going on Craigslist or Facebook and finding a tenant. And, we have the software. We have our tricks too, because right now in this time of age where there's AI is really popular, right? People falsify documents galore.
Really?
Bank statements get falsified. You could go on Facebook and on Marketplace, you'll see people posting, what do you need? Here's a package for landlord history
really?
Bank statement, $99, So we know our tricks, how to find that kind of stuff when they falsify that stuff. And so we do a really good screening process with the tenants.
Yeah, well, that's a game changer right there, because if you can find the good one to begin with, and you don't have all the problems of non-payment, of destroying the house, of claiming everything's broken. That's
the hopes, right? But, tenants can surprise you. They can look great on paper, and then life happens, right? A spouse passes away, your child gets sick, and now priorities, not paying
Right.
rent, right? And so there's a lot of things that happen, and we have, like I said, a lot of partnerships that we can help them with that kind of stuff. We also do semi-annual reviews, so we're going into the property. So owners that try to self-manage their house and they don't live in town, when's the last time they've gone to the house, right? 2 years, a year, even just months can destroy the property. So we do go out to the home. And
So that's a good client for you, somebody who lives somewhere else and has
Absolutely.
a property here, because you can be their eyes and ears and
Absolutely.
get everything done.
Yep.
Okay, well, we've got to take another break, but just reminding you, this is Talk Law Radio with Lorena Jáuregui de Birdy and Jacob Warren. Jacob, what do you think about self-managing the property in 30 seconds?
If you don't have to do it, I don't think you should do it. That's where I like to lean on experts, whether, in my world, CPAs, attorneys. I think you can eliminate a lot of headaches by hiring someone like Lorena. So
Right.
that's my take, yeah.
You serve as the financial CEO for successful people, and somebody who hires a CEO to be in control of their investments and their insurance and their taxes probably would want to have a subject matter expert like Lorena
Exactly,
on
yeah.
the team as well. Well, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, on the radio, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Go to Talk Law Radio's channel on YouTube. All you have to do is go to your YouTube app on your phone and click the little magnifying glass and type in Talk Law Radio, and then look for the Lady Justice logo in the red, white, and blue colors. Then click subscribe and join the fun, because then you can watch these episodes in bite-sized segments of 10 to 14 minutes apiece. You can even watch shorter videos that are a minute or so, and then you can share them with your friend and let your friends know how knowledgeable about the law you are. We're talking with Lorena Jáuregui de Birdy and Jacob Warren with Financial Planning HQ about property management. And I wanted to ask about rent. How does somebody decide how much a tenant should pay?
You ask the experts.
And how has that changed over the years, and what resources do you use?
Yeah. So you definitely want to ask someone like us. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. So, we have access as realtors to MLS, which is the multiple listing service. This is where all the data is stored when people sell their houses, when they rent their houses. And so when we go in there after we've reviewed the property, we're looking at not just what has rented in the area. Hey, it's a 4-bedroom, mine's a 4-bedroom, I should get the same amount. But we're looking at the condition of the property, upgrades, lack of upgrades, especially in these older neighborhoods, right, where it's not cookie cutter. They're not all the same, right? You could have a neighbor that got, $2,000, and you're not going to get $2,000 or what you're anticipating getting because your house hasn't been updated like theirs, or vice versa, right? So we really look at the condition and the market at that time. The market has changed. During COVID, it was slow, and then after COVID, it was like everyone was ready to move out of where they were living, right? And so prices hiked up. We were renting houses ridiculously priced, like $200, $400 more than what they should. The market used to say it should rent for. And the struggle right now is trying to tell owners that, yes, I got that many years ago, but 2 years, last year it started to kind of
come down a little.
It started to go back to the normal prices, right? And so it's hard to tell owners that have self-managed before that, yes, you got that, but right now we're not at that time, right? Because during that time too, there wasn't enough inventory. Now there's a lot of inventory. You see a lot of Lennar neighborhoods popping up on the outskirts of San Antonio,
I've
right?
heard that.
A lot. And so a lot of investors came from California, purchased these Lennar homes that are affordable. And so now it's like saturated in those areas. So there's a lot of competition. So we have to look at everything.
And so why would somebody pay rent that's higher than what the mortgage is?
What their mortgage would be?
Why not just buy a house?
Well, sometimes they can't, right? You have the well-established, sorry to say, but attorneys that are going through divorces or that maybe their money's tied up, so they can't buy a house because they're going through a divorce and the money is tied up and they have to rent, right? So there's situations like that. You have the military men and women that they want to invest here and buy here, but not at this time because they're not familiar with San Antonio, right? So they want to rent and just kind of see where they would like to invest. Before they make that.
I have another situation that you probably run into. It just didn't come to your mind, where somebody used to have a house, but they got laid off or got sick, and they got behind on the mortgage. They foreclosed on, and then so now they're trying to build their life back, and they have a high income. And so they can afford to live in that neighborhood. They just can't afford to buy the house because they've got bad credit.
Yeah.
Jacob, do you have clients with bad credit? Probably not.
I don't think so. not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That's very true.
That's a good point, though, yeah.
But budgeting and having good credit, that's part of a financial roadmap for some, I would imagine.
It's super important if you're planning on buying at some point to get all that organized and know where you stand. Yeah.
Right. Great. I read in your bio that you have some professional certification for homeowners associations, or do you work with homeowners associations?
Yes. So yes and no. We do work with the HOA as a property manager. Of course, we have to work closely with them for our clients, but we have a whole pillar. My brother-in-law actually oversees our pillar of HOA. So we are the HOA for some communities as well. So that's part of our company as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I was telling you before that I was asking Grok, that's the artificial intelligence for X, formerly known as Twitter, what property managers complain about on X. And one of the things is they said difficult tenants and behavioral issues.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you have any stories you can tell about behavioral issues?
Yeah, that's why I don't have any funny stories, Todd, because, I mean, we have to deal with so many personalities, right? The owners and the tenants. I mean, okay, before I left the office today, I was talking to our maintenance manager, and he was like, hey, did you hear what happened yesterday? I said, no. He mentioned the property. He said that we got a call that the cops had were out to the property, and it's a vacant home, and that there was someone in the property. So he booked it and went to the property, and he finds a gentleman there coming out of the home, and he's all like, the guy starts questioning, what are you doing here on my property? He's like, this is not your property, sir. I'm actually with the property management company here checking on the home because we got a call from the cops saying that someone was here that shouldn't be. And he's like, no. He was unhinged. He was like, this is my property. I pay for this, and I've got keys. Door was, kicked in, and
really?
So this is stuff that we have to deal with. But we're always like living on edge, like there's a lot of situations that we have to deal with.
That would be so scary. I bet your maintenance manager is a tough guy.
He is. He doesn't look it, but he is. Yeah. But yeah, we deal with a lot of disgruntled situations, a lot of personality issues, a lot of serious.
Yeah,
issues.
But that wouldn't be a tenant that you had chosen.
No, but even our tenants, we have the issues there too as well.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, what Grok said is non-payment, poor communication, property damage, unauthorized activities. Yeah. I think of Breaking Bad when I hear unauthorized activities. Yeah. What if somebody was renting your house and cooking meth in the basement? That would be horrible. That would be an awful mess to clean up.
It would. It's happened once, but before my time, so a long time ago. There's certain steps you have to take when that happens once you get the tenant out.
A hazmat situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other problems that people complained about: high turnover of tenants, subletting without permission, leaving filth. Mm-hmm. Oh, I had a client one time, her son was the tenant, and tragically, her son died, and he wouldn't let her in the house. And so, after he died, she had to go in the house. It was her house, and she had to wrap up his affairs. It's bad enough to have a child die, but she goes in, there's a motorcycle in the living room.
You sure that's not one of my old tenants? No. That stuff happens, which leads me to saying, when you rent to family, make sure that you have a professional or that you have a lease, because that happens a lot.
As an estate planning attorney, we usually discourage our clients from doing that.
Yeah, don't mix.
Or lending money to the family.
Seems like it never ends well.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the Bible says that the debtor is slave to the lender. So you don't want to get into that.
True.
Another thing that people complain about on X, formerly known as Twitter, is maintenance and repair headaches. Unexpected or frequent repairs, especially spikes or inherited problems from prior mismanagement. Increased winter maintenance calls for the heater, plumbing, other issues pile up that require immediate attention. So do you ever have one of these self-managed people come to you and just beg you for help? Like, help me get this situation cleaned up.
All day, every day.
Because I hate the way that it's going.
Yes, all the time.
And so how do you get started?
Well, by listening, right? I need to get a better idea of the situation. And sometimes I don't get the big picture of everything. I get snips of it on the owner's side, right? So, but it's asking questions. A lot of the questions come from the experience that I've had in the past. I think when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, we can fix it. And now I'm just kind of like, we can fix it, but this is what's going to happen. And I don't really want to go down that path, or,
the cost of repairs and cleanup and hiring contractors.
Yeah, but we take care of all that. We have our own maintenance company. So they work like a general contractor. So we have a multitude of vendors that we can dispatch at any time. We have, when we can't evict them in-house, if it's, because usually I get calls from owners that self-manage that are in a position where the tenant's not paying, right? And they need our help to evict the tenant. We can do that in-house if it's for non-payment of rent. But if an attorney gets involved, or if it's something other than non-payment of rent, that's when we get the attorneys involved or advise them to.
The first jury trial I won was an eviction.
Really?
Yeah. It was some little town on the way to Austin. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. I'll finish this story after the break. We got to take a break. Stay tuned. Are you 100% confident that no matter what happens in the financial markets, economy, or world events, you will achieve your financial goals? If not, we have a process to get your financial house in perfect order and keep it that way forever. Your financial future shouldn't be a guessing game. Planning, advice, organization, and accountability are deliverables you should expect. For over 35 years, Financial Planning HQ has been San Antonio's trusted partner for comprehensive written lifetime financial strategies. Steve and his team, including sons Joseph and Jacob, don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, they create a personalized financial roadmap for you based on what's important to you. As an independent registered investment advisor, they're not tied to any big corporation's products. They work for you, creating inspiring, intelligent financial strategies that put your interests first. Call Financial Planning HQ at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. Hi, I'm attorney Todd Marquardt. If you don't have a will, the state of Texas decides who gets your stuff, and it might not go where you think. I'll help you create a simple, legally sound will that protects your family and your wishes. Call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Or visit marquardtlawfirm.com for your free consultation. Do it before you die. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Lorena Jáuregui de Birdy and Jacob Warren. We're talking about property management because you work with Birdy Property Management Company. Is that the right title for the company?
Yeah.
Okay.
PMI Birdy Properties, yes.
Yeah, just look up Birdy. It's a great name of a company. I mean, people remember it.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to finish my story about my first jury trial that involved an eviction. My client was the self-managed owner of the property. She didn't live there, and the tenants stopped paying. They demanded things be done or fixed, and there was arguments about everything. And I was a brand new attorney. This was a long time ago. And there was a judge in my Rotary Club, and I said, I'm going to this trial in some county I've never been about eviction, and she said, well, just remember that when there's an eviction action, the only question is who has the right to be there. And so that changed the whole case for me, because the lawyer on the other side said that there were damages and they shouldn't have to pay for this or that or the other. Well, what that judge told me is that the only issue that matters is who owns the property. And so I didn't have to address any of that other garbage. And this other attorney, I would talk to him on the phone, and he would say things like, I'm going to put your client on the stand, and I'm going to tear her heart out. Can you imagine?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, that's not very professional behavior. And I didn't know what to do about it. So I just, God blessed me with some level of ignorance or being naive. So I just continued on. Well, I get to the trial, and the first thing you have to do is pick your jury. And so I knew only one question I need to ask. Can you guys guess what it is?
Who's the landlord?
Who owns
How
it?
many of you own your own home?
Oh, yeah.
There was one guy that didn't. And I said, you're out. Because I knew that the owners would be on side of the owner.
Yep.
And I did win that trial. I didn't get paid all of the money that I should have gotten paid. But it was a great experience. I have a great story to tell.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, so this is the legacy segment. And so we like to talk to people about their legacy.
And now, it's time for the Talk Law Radio Legacy Spotlight. What's your legacy? Sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm.
Okay, so you guys know Marquardt Law Firm sponsors the show, and Marquardt Law Firm focuses on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. It's all about legacy.
Yeah.
And so I like to put people on the hot seat and ask, what does legacy mean to you, Jacob?
So for myself, so the listeners know I'm a part of a family business, right? I work with my dad, Steve, and my brother, Joseph. And I think when Todd mentioned to me like a minute ago that he was going to ask me about legacy, I thought about when I started to work for my dad and how cool that is that we get to work together every day. Same thing when my brother came in. I think legacy, if I think about the business now, 20 years down the road, it would be really cool to have one of my children, potentially.
There you go.
They're both babies, so who knows what their interest will be. But it would be cool for them to either continue the business, join the business, and continue on the financial
just
planning.
be careful when you make a roadmap for somebody else.
Yes, no, not going to push them into it, but if they're interested.
Yeah, and you weren't pushed into it.
No, not at all.
That's so cool.
It was very much like you said. It was like, see if you're interested in this.
Yeah.
And it turns out I was, so here I am.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Lorena, what does legacy mean to you? It could be your family. It could be the business. You can give us as much personal detail as you want. Could be your impact on the community.
I wish I could say the same thing as Jacob, because that's where my mind went, is like legacy and keeping the legacy of Birdy Properties and Papa. But my kids don't want anything to do with property management, so I don't see that getting into the business there. But I think legacy to me is just like the reputation that I leave for, Birdy Properties, my children. I want them to remember, that I care deeply about what I did, even though it's property management, and for the community, and just hope my kids remember that aspect of just...
Yeah. Well, think about all those success stories, when you were talking about the divorced woman and she wanted to make an impact on her kids. That began with you.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So what I wanted to bring to this conversation is I have some clients who really enjoy having a lot of properties. When they get one, then they want another one, and then they want another one. And when you start acquiring assets, that's when I think you have a real responsibility to be a good steward of the resources that God gave you, and to take care of it and make sure that you don't lose it due to frivolous lawsuits and things like that. So I like to help them protect assets using estate and business planning techniques. And so if anybody's interested in what that means, we can have a 15-minute phone call. You just call 210-530-4278. Call Marquardt Law Firm at 210-530-4278. And you can learn about how you can get started limiting your liability and protecting your assets. See, the state of Texas protects some of our assets for us. Your home, your car, your tools of trade, some geese, chickens, horses, and other farm animals, your pets, your sporting equipment, $50,000 for an individual. But then that's it. So when I help somebody who has more than that, you have to rely on these other legal strategies in order to protect your property. Because just like there's tenants out there who you thought were good that turn out to be weird or evil, there's people out there that they're looking for their payday, their windfall.
Absolutely.
They'll wreck into you and say it was your fault and try and take all the money that you've worked so hard to achieve.
Right.
So we don't want that to happen. What are some key takeaways for people that are looking to do that? They think, I've got my investments, I've got my 401k, I've got some extra money. They probably heard Lifestyles Unlimited on the radio, and they want the passive income and the good life. So what should they know?
I would say it would be important for them to, before they even purchase anything, to speak to individuals like you guys, property managers as well, and make sure that they really know the full aspect of what they're getting themselves into, because so many people just purchase investment homes and run with it until it's too late, and they're calling me and then I'm calling you, hey, let's put him, create an LLC, put him in a trust, do this. So it's important to do the research before you just kind of get into it.
I met a realtor the other day, and he said that he's been helping investors, new investors. And he said there are some realtors they don't care whether the house is a good deal or not.
No.
They just want the commission. But
Absolutely.
he said, if I did that, I wouldn't get repeat business. And so he gives a little coaching, and he said he had this one client, she really loved the house. And he said, it's not a good deal. You're not going to make any money on it. And she said, but I really like it. And he said, well, if you're going to do it for investing, you have to do it for the right reason.
Right.
What do you think, Jacob? What are some key takeaways here?
Yeah, I think what you said, if it's a pure investment, you really want to make sure that you have the numbers like dialed in to make sure that you are actually going to make money on the deal, and try to leave like the emotional aspect of the home and all that stuff. Like, I really love the home, but if you're going to end up losing money, you want to make sure that you're running those numbers and making sure that it's truly a good deal, not just looks good.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah.
My dad always said, buy low and sell high.
Yes. That's
Don't buy
that's my job.
high.
Yeah.
He said you would make your money when you bought the property.
Right.
Well, for me, he was talking about baseball cards. When you go to the baseball card show, make sure you buy low. All right. Well, we've been talking about property management. If you're curious about this, please call Lorena Jáuregui de Birdy. How can they reach you?
They can call me directly at 210-833-9104, or check us out on www.birdy.com. That's BIRDY.com.
Such a cool name. Reminds me of Tweety Bird. Thank you for listening to Talk Law Radio. If you're interested in some legal topic that's causing you problems or that you don't understand fully, email me at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. I'm always looking for hidden legal issue blind spots, because if it's your question, somebody else is going to have a question about that same thing. I'm Todd Marquardt. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you.
It's been awesome. I had a blast.
I had fun.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.